back to the vibe. We are in the kitchen, and as you can see in front of you, we are going to start a sourdough starter. Well, when we say start, somebody else has kind of started it for us, so we're just going to feed it and continue it. I went on the site of King Arthur and I was just roaming around. I have tried to film this video a couple of times. I myself have tried to start a sourdough starter from scratch with no success. So there you have it. I will confess that I've tried it 3 times, different flours, even to the point of trying King Arthur's flour. So I fell in love with their flour, which is why I was roaming around their site and I saw that they had a sourdough starter fresh that you can purchase. So guys, I hope I don't kill this thing. So it was pretty affordable. It was $9.95, $10 to round it off. While I was there, I just went ahead and purchased some more flour, the all-purpose, more bread flour, and they had some self-rising flour. Unfortunately, that came busted, so I gave them a call and they're replacing it. So amazing customer service. Kudos to them for that. So I'm just waiting for that to be replaced. But other than that, we are here to get this started. Now I went onto the internet. Well, when I say the internet, I went to good old YouTube and tried to see, you know, other people start this, even though they send you, you know, a whole guide on how to get this started. I didn't find too many guides on how to get it started. I found somebody that was, you know, almost 8 to 10 years ago that did this, and she was doing it with apple juice. She said somebody else did it with pineapple. I don't know, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it with plain old water, which is, you know, what the recipe is telling you to do it with, which is lukewarm water, and the all-purpose flour. So we're gonna go ahead and turn you guys around so you can just see the quick process. Hopefully this is a short one, so let's go ahead and get into this one. All right guys, so with this one there is no scale that's really needed. I already went ahead and pre-read the instructions that come here in this. Not only is it instructions as well, they also send you some recipes here in the back and pretty much how to maintain your sourdough starter alive. But here pretty much are your feeding instructions, literally right on the first page. And you know, pretty much once you get it, you know, you have to jump into it, or at least, you know, within 24 hours. So what they are telling you, they do give it to you in grams if you want to go ahead and do it, you know, on your scale. But I'm just going to wing it with, you know, the way that they gave it to me in the measurements. So if you want to do it with the measurements, you're going to need a 1/4 cup and 1 cup in measurements. So it's telling you right off the bat you're going to have to add 1/4 cup of lukewarm water into the container here, which has your live starter. Then from there you are going to be placing your starter here that you have liquefied down into your vessel. I'm gonna go ahead and add it here into the bowl first because I want to kind of you know, keep my vessel as clean as possible so I can see the rise and fall or whatnot, you know, in sourdough, you know, lingo. So I'm gonna do the mixing all in this bowl, and I'm going to loosen this up, pour it into here. Once we do that, we're going to be putting into the bowl, it's 2 cups of King Arthur's unbleached all-purpose flour and 1 cup of lukewarm water, if I am not mistaken. Yes, I got that correct. And then you're gonna mix everything, and then you're gonna put it into your vessel, and according to that you're gonna let it sit in a cool room temperature. It's about 68 to 70 Fahrenheit for about 8 to 24 hours, and the starter should expand and become bubbly. So that's what we're gonna go ahead and do. Then after that I will bring you guys back so you can see how active it is. I'll also take pictures. I'll post it up in my Instagram. You guys should go ahead and follow us over there. All the links are always in my descriptions below, so give us a follow over there. We're usually more active there on a daily basis. and you'll see, you know, the whole activity all on one complete video. So let's go ahead and do this process. It should hopefully move fairly quickly. All right, so right off the bat, I just wanted to show you guys the little container right here. It says fresh sourdough starter. It says the net weight is about 1 ounce. And as you can see there really quickly, it just says feed me. It says see booklet for more information. Do not consume the raw starter, it says obviously. And here it says best if used by October 23 of 2023. The ingredients in this is King Arthur unbleached flour, wheat flour, enzymes, or malted barley flour, water, and contains wheat, and their address and all that good stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and open this guy up, and you can see what is in there. And she's pretty thick, and it smells really sour, so it looks really good. So we're gonna go ahead and add the 1/4 cup of water. I'm gonna go ahead and pour it off camera because I do get a little clumsy. All right, so I poured my 1/4 cup of water. I'm gonna go ahead and pour it right into the vessel, that's the instructions. Now, you're supposed to go ahead and mix everything in here. Oh, it's thick, guys. All right, so the whole point of this is to loosen up all the nooks and cranny. And you can see right there, it kind of becomes like this milky consistency. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue this off camera because I want to get everything off of this, so this might take a minute. All right, so I went ahead and mixed that well. I'll show it to you in a second, but we are going to move on with the mixture over here. I'm going to mix this first because the starter is so tiny, so I want to mix this first and then pour the starter on top. So it wants 2 cups of the all-purpose flour, to 1 cup of lukewarm water. Just a little bit more. All right, so we have 1 cup going right in. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get our arm exercise and we're gonna mix this in. All right, so this is what the starter looks like. It's nice and moist and liquefied, and I got every nook and cranny. So at this point, this is what it's looking like. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour the starter right in so it gets into every nook and cranny. And as you can see, guys, look at that. I got almost everything. So I'm scraping for life right now, making sure I don't leave anything behind at all. I mean, I'm making sure I get my $10 worth. You know what I'm saying? All right, so we're gonna finish mixing all of this in, and once I'm done, I will bring you guys back to show you what it looks like. Okay, guys, that's what she's looking like. I mean, she thick. She thick, she thick, she thick, she thick. And I stirred it in very well. So I'm gonna put it in this vessel, which is where I started all the other ones. But, you know, I would get a nice rise, nice fall, but it just wouldn't make it. So it is what it is. So according to this, it says to cover the bowl loosely with a plastic wrap, the lid, or disposable shower cap. The whole point of it, it says, is so the starter doesn't dry out on the top. Now, this brings this lid, which I can literally just clamp it down completely. Now, the videos that I've heard before, I know that when I was actually supposed to start the starter, I was supposed to be capturing active yeast or everything, but this is already there. I'm just feeding it to, you know, continue the situation. So I don't know if I should just use this or just put cling over it. So I'm probably just going to put the plastic cling over it and just keep this the way I normally used to keep it with the other ones, which was just, you know, put the spring behind it and just leave it like that, and it just stays open. I think that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. So let me put this in here. I'll put the rubber band over it if I still have one, because I got all upset and I threw all my rubber bands out. If not, then I think I have probably kitchen twine or some twine around here. I'll figure it out. If not, I'll just take a Sharpie and mark it. But let me put this in its resting spot. I'll show you what it looks like at the end, and we'll see you guys on day 2, so we can show you if my King Arthur sourdough starter, you know, did its thing, and if this will actually get me to what I want. Unfortunately, you know, I wasn't I guess good enough, or my skills are not there enough for me to actually start it myself, but one day. But it's okay though, because, you know, this is what, you know, we gotta resort to. But eventually one day I will be there, and it's okay, because, you know, we all need help, and I'm not ashamed of it. But hopefully if I do kill this, then I don't know what else to do. Then at that point, I don't know what to do. But anywho's, let's move on. All right, guys, so there you have it. King Arthur fresh sourdough starter, day 1. We will see what happens. I put some cling plastic wrap on it, like I said. Put the lid on it. It's not secured tight. It's just, you know, enough so it can hold the wrapper in place. And we will see. It is exactly 11:30 here at USG. So it said 8 to 24 hours. Hopefully I will see some action. I am going to be probably in the kitchen for most part of the day. I got some fruit to process, and obviously I have to cook dinner. So the kitchen is probably going to stay cozy. We're actually fall weather right now. It is rainy here in the Bronx, so it's pretty cold. The temperature is about 63 degrees outside. So all the windows are pretty much closed here in USG. So the house is about maybe 70 something degrees. So hopefully it'll take off. Fingers crossed. Let's pray this one works for me. You know, it's okay, you know, to ask for help or to buy help. I'm not ashamed of it, you know. I know, you know, in the couple of seconds ago, you know, there was a little bit of, I guess, an embarrassment. But, you know, it's okay. There's not a problem with, you know, showing your downfalls or admitting your downfalls. It is what it is. I know eventually, you know, one day I will come into fruition and be able to do this from scratch. I know I will make it. I'm not going to stop, you know, trying to figure it out. But for the time being, I want to be able to, you know, get this going and start this and, you know, be able to bake this right now. So in the interim, you know, if I can successfully, you know, maintain this, I will have this maintained while I continue to master my skills. So let's get this on from day 1 to day 2. I will see you guys on day 2, and I will take pictures as it starts progressing, and you guys will see that on my Instagram. So I'll see you guys then. All right, USG, good morning, good morning. It is a 9:19 a.m. here in the kitchen, and we are with our sourdough starter from King Arthur. And guys, this thing bubbled away like crazy, and as you can see, look at this thing. It made a mess in my countertop, and I moved it over here after cleaning up, obviously, and you can see it is still dripping. So I left it obviously so you guys can see it. I'm gonna go ahead and open it with you guys. I'm gonna take this top off because it really served nothing. I left the plastic on, as you guys can see, because that was the instructions. Look at this thing. So you guys can see firsthand. I mean, that's obviously garbage. I mean, it is, look, it is sticky, gooey, and look at those bubbles. I'm not gonna, you know, so it's just, look at that, look at that. It's beautiful. Obviously the minute that I touch it, it falls. So what I'm gonna do off camera is mix it so we can go ahead and break all of that down, and then from there we're gonna go back to the instructions for day 2. At this point we do a discard and remix. The discard, we're gonna put it in the fridge for later on. Today I have an appointment, so we're not gonna do breakfast in the house. But maybe tomorrow we can do maybe like a discard waffles and or pancakes. I'll probably maybe bring you guys along for that. But let's go ahead and do our second day feeding. All right, so I just wanted to bring you guys in close. I got a dish rag so I can actually manipulate it because the jar is like really like sticky and yucky. So I moved it and it lost a lot of its volume, and this is how far down to the jar it got, but it's still a nice consistency. So let's go ahead and see what the instructions tell us to do. I'm gonna put it down with the dish rag because it is all over the place, guys. So day 2 is gonna tell us to do stir the starter, which we already did, and we are going to take about half a cup to feed, and then the rest we're gonna discard, or it can be thrown away. It's up to you, or what I already said, it can be used for any recipes that call for a discard. And here in this pamphlet, it does give you some recipes that you can use. Then from there, we can add half a cup of water and 1 cup of flour, stir well, and then we put it back in our reservoir of choice, which you can see here. And from there, we wait about 6 to 8 hours. So that's pretty much what we are going to do. So let's go ahead and move on with that process. So here I have my half a cup. So let's go ahead and stir or pour in half a cup into that. Let's get rid of all of this. Oh my god, it is so messy, guys. Look at this. Can you see this? It's all right. That's why we're in the kitchen, right? Thank god I had this rag out. All right, so let's get rid of that. Serves no purpose right now, right? All right, my hands are full of starter. So let's see. This thing here is also really heavy. Oop, I'm gonna create a mess. Yeah. Whoa, okay, so that's half a cup of starter. We are going to put it into our vessel over here, which is a bowl. I find it easier to use this bowl because it's easier to mix everything. Transfer that bowl over here so it's easier for you guys to see. So what I'm gonna do is, since I'm not gonna be home right now, first I'm gonna try to wash my hands. So give me a second while I do that. Okay. Now we're going to put the remaining, take all of this off because we want all those nook and crannies to stay in here, because that is my half a cup. We're gonna pour the rest of this into here because this is our discard. So we can put this into the fridge and we can use one of the recipes that came in with our sourdough starter on a different day. And what I am going to do is I'm going to be washing this vessel because it is incredibly sticky. All right, we're gonna put a mason jar lid on here. Now we'll just put a cling wrap for right now until I get home because I'm kind of working on a rush mode. All right, so we are ready to move forward now that my mess has been cleaned up. Well, my sourdough's mess has been cleaned up. So this is nice and full. I had to open a new bag yesterday. I've been baking and I almost went through a whole bag here of 5. So to feed it, it calls for a cup. So I'm going to aid myself with this little spoon because this is full to the brim, and we already know that I like to make messes in my kitchen, and I just cleaned up a mess as you guys witnessed, and I'm trying not to make, I mean, I don't mind a little mess, but I'm trying not to make another big mess. All right, so that's 1 cup of flour. Let's put her away. Made a little mess, but nothing crazy. And it's calling for half a cup of water. There you go. And now it's time to mix it all together. Make sure you get it well incorporated. Scrape all the sides up. I like to give it a good, you know, it's not a whisk that I'm using a straight up spatula, but I like to give it a good wind up, you know, so that I see kind of a smooth consistency, kind of like what you're seeing here. So like, I guess in my mind, all the flour pockets kind of break up. So that's kind of what I'm going for. So this is the consistency that I have right now. And from there, I take my vessel again, which is nice and clean now, and just pour it right in. Had a little excess water, so I was just getting rid of that. making sure I get every single piece that I can. Make sure I don't leave nobody behind. Okay. Try to get off as much as I can with my off the spatula with my finger, if it's possible. There's not much left on the spatula anyway. I'm gonna do the same thing that I did yesterday. Get a little piece of cling wrap and put it right on top. It seems to be that was like the money-making decision here. That's what it's looking like. I had a green Sharpie line here yesterday, but it looks like it's no longer there, but that's okay. Let me go get the cling wrap. Okay. Right over it. Just literally break it. There's no science to this, so I just literally just went right over here. And since these have these trussels back here, it made it really easy to just make sure that the cling wrap stood in place. And then this part right here, I just did this. I went right there. I didn't, you know, like shut it down because, you know, you have to also let it breathe. But I just made sure that I kind of pull this down, you know, to make it as tight as possible that the cling needs to be on. And that's it. Now I'm gonna dry the sides a little bit because I'm gonna go ahead and with the Sharpie, which is glass, and as you can see, the other Sharpie line is gone. I'm gonna go ahead and mark it again right here. That's our starter line. So this is day 2. This is our discard. According to the directions, like I already said, the starter should hopefully bubble and increase in volume within 6 to 8 hours. It is currently 9:42, so let's roughly just put it at 10-ish. So day 2, I should hopefully be giving you guys an update, hopefully today. That'll put me, 6 hours will put me at what we got, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. So about 4 or 5 o'clock. So we'll see each other hopefully in the late afternoon. If anything, I'll post pictures up on our Instagram. That's where we're usually, you know, more active on a daily basis. And we will see. But so far this has been a success for right now. I don't want to poo-poo on anything, but you know, day 3 and 4 usually goes downhill for me. But we will see. Tomorrow will be day 3, but usually here, step 3, it says repeat feeding process from step 2 until starter is ready to use, which is considered at the right stage. Once the starter is ready, if you don't plan to bake with it right away, it says to refrigerate it in, you know, its crock, which would be its vessel, and just leave it, you know, there. And from there, you know, I know a lot of methods once it comes from YouTube on, you know, the weekly feedings and or whatnot. But it gives me here pictures on, you know, what to look for if it's, you know, hungry right after feed, and what a ripe starter should look like. And as you guys can see at the beginning of this video, I had one of these and an overflow. So yeah, so we will see what happens within 6 to 8 hours. So I'll see you guys then. If not, if I don't give you guys an update today because I get too busy, I will definitely see you guys on day 3. Either way, you guys will know because of the video, because I usually say it at the beginning. So see you guys then. All right, USG, so still day 2 per the pamphlet. It is almost 8 hours later, and this is my marking right here, and this is how much it, well, this right here is how much it rose, and it fell back down to here. I already read to you guys what to do in the number 3 right here. So after 8 hours, which I'm about 13 minutes from, which once I'm done, it says to just repeat step number 2 until the starter is ripe. So we are going to go ahead and do exactly what we already did this morning. After that, once we know that it is ripe, we just continue this twice a day if we want to keep the starter outside. If not, we can maintain it in the fridge and just I think feed it once a week. But I will give you the gist of all of that tomorrow, which will be day 3. So let's go ahead and refeed this because it is reseeding. I don't know what reseeding means. I don't know if that means that it's starting to get hungry. But I'm going to follow instructions to a T, and we'll see what happens. So let's go ahead and discard. I have my discard here from this morning. It was in the fridge. So I'm going to discard everything, you know, into this same vessel. So we are going to be keeping half a cup from this one. We're going to put it into the bowl here, and it's going to be half a cup of water to 1 cup of flour, and then we're going to mix. So I am going to save you guys all of that because you guys already seen that from this morning. So let me do all of that off camera, and I will be back with you guys. So just like this morning, the only thing that I do want to show you guys is once I do like break it down and debubble it, it does come down quite significantly, and this is the consistency that I have. So let me continue. All right, so I finished everything. I did not wash this vessel because I don't think it made any common sense. The only reason why I washed the vessel this morning was because, well, you saw it. It literally combusted through it and it went all over the place. The discard now is put together and it's almost full over here.
Motion detected at entry.
And as you guys see, every time I mix all of this is with my silicone spatulas, but this I'm gonna completely discard, so like completely overall. So, you know, some people say don't use metal because something about a reactant or whatnot. I don't know. I'm not, like I said, I'm not in the lingo. But I wanted to reserve some of this because they say that you know that your sourdough is ready if it passes the flow test. So I just have some water here in this clear mason jar so we can both see. And I'm just going to use my finger to see if I could just drop it in there and see if it passes the flow test. Because this sourdough, and if it doesn't pass it, then it's okay. If it sinks to the bottom, that means it's not ready. I mean, I just received this, so I don't expect it to pass, which it didn't. And that's fine. I was just curious. So it sank to the bottom, which is totally okay. As you can see it, you know, wiggling there. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't stuck. So, you know, making sure it wasn't stuck, which is fine. I just wanted to see where it was at. But I'm still happy because it is rising and falling. So that's what you want to see. So that means I'm hoping that I'm in a good place. So we're going to continue this. We're going to continue to move forward, and we will see what happens. So I will bring you guys back on day 3, which will be tomorrow. But this smells like none of the other stuff that I have started before. It is very, very like sour. Not, I mean, for me, it doesn't smell like yeast at all. It's just very sour. I've never smelled that before. So I hope I'm in the right spot. You know, due to the bubbles and the rising and falling, you know, those seem to be a good sign. So we'll move on to day 3, and I'll see you guys then. All right. Good morning. Well, at least for here for USG. It is about 10 o'clock in the morning here, and got a little late start, you know, busy morning. So we are here with our sourdough starter, King Arthur, and it is day 3. If you watched the beginning of this video, you already know what happened on day 2. So this is the first feeding. Yesterday, I did see that it kind of rose to about here. It has receded. The beginning of it started here, so now it is currently here. It is very bubbly, very active, if you can see right there. It smells very sour. It's very sticky, but loose, not like when we started. So we are going to continue with the discard, because yesterday we did the float test and it did not float. It sank. So I am going to do the float test today as well. I'm going to reserve a little bit on a spoon, but I'm going to do the feeding. We're going to do a double feeding today as well, just like we did yesterday. So we're going to do the feeding today. We're going to wait 6 to 8 hours, and we're going to do another feeding, and then we'll put it to rest, the same thing we did on day 2. So the feeding is the same. Half a cup of the sourdough starter. The rest is going to go in my discard. We have this in the fridge. And might I say, this is pretty stiff. I am going to need a second jar. This is almost full, so hopefully this discard fits in here. If not, I'm going to have to change this and put it probably in a bowl, which would be okay. And so it's going to be half of a cup of the discard, half a cup of water, a cup of King Arthur all-purpose flour, mix, back into the jar. And we will continue from there. So I'm going to do that off of camera because you guys already seen that. And we'll just show you what it looks like all again at the end. All right, guys. So behind the scenes, a lot of work done. There goes day 3. First feeding of the day. Finished, let's say, about 11-ish. Because a lot of things just, you know, happened in between. But so 6 to 8 hours from now, we'll just see how it rises and when the peak hits. So that's when we'll break it down and refeed it. Can we talk about this discard? It is full, and as I'm watching it, I put the plastic on, right? Obviously the jar here is cold. Obviously this is the fresh one, and it is currently just like bubbling out of the plastic. So I have to find something to do with that. My head wants to take to blueberry muffins because I have blueberries that are frozen in my freezer, obviously, from the garden. And I think those will be, I think, phenomenal. So I have to surf YouTube and find a recipe for that. So as we sit here, this is starting to have active bubbles in, you know, between, and is going to hopefully activate for us. Now I went ahead, I mean, now it's obviously, you know, starting to dissolve, but it did not float. As you can see, it sank. So, you know, per what YouTube, I'm even branching out into TikTok. TikTok has amazing information once it comes to these sourdough starters and sourdough information in general. You know, same information, but I think it's more broad. So it is supposed to float and it's not floating. So today I actually did it with this once it's fed. Yesterday I did it with the discard. So the discard is looser. I didn't expect it to float. I was hoping that it would float since this is thicker, but it didn't. But it's recently fed, so you know, I didn't have high hopes. But I'll probably do it when it rises and see what happens. If not, then I would have to surf the YouTube space and see when is it that I'm supposed to perform that float test, to see when, you know, I can start baking with this, or to know when it is at its ripe stage or peak stage. Anywho's, it's still a young starter, so I'm not pushing it. I just want to, you know, learn with it. So that's where we're at. But other than that, this is the first feeding of day 3. I'll see you on the second feeding of day 3. All right, guys. Sourdough starter, day 3, feeding 2. Reading manual still. Not that I need the instructions at this point, is self-explanatory. I still keep looking at this picture. It's like daunting me or haunting me. It keeps looking like it's a ripe starter. But here in the bottom, right here, it says that the more you feed it, the better it is. So if I go by what the instructions say, 6 to 8 hours. Right now I'm at the sweet spot, which is 6 hours. It is bubbling. I actively saw it like do like a burp. So if I go by the 6 hours, I will be able to feed it again right before I go to sleep, and then it'll probably go 12 hours roughly until I wake up, which means it'll probably be extra hungry when I get up in the morning. And I think that's probably what I'll do, just to ensure that it doesn't like kind of, you know, go into starvation mode. So we're gonna do what you guys already know, you know, break it down, discard. I have a new jar, by the way, because the other jar is about almost here full. I am currently making a blueberry loaf. You guys will see that video eventually, somehow in some sequence. And you guys will know if we enjoy it or not, because that's the first thing that I do at all with a sourdough, discard sourdough, anything. So that was actually an adventure. Can't wait to taste it. So, but I don't want to overfill it, because you'll see in that video that as I left it outside to get to room temperature, it actually continued to bubble up. So I have a headspace on it and I don't want to overfill it. So I have a new jar to put this discard in there. So I have an abundance of discard right now. So I need to start surfing good old YouTube for more recipes, and or wait for the weekend so I can do waffles and, you know, pancakes, so biscuits and all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and break this down, refeed it, and we'll show you the end. All right, guys, so feeding number 2 for day 3 is done. Did not clean the vessel this time. No need to. Expecting it to rise. Level still the same. Rose up to here. Now we're back down to here. This is the discard for today. So you see, still nice and bubbly. This is gonna go to the fridge. But if somebody wanted to pick this up, I'm sure they can probably, you know, continue to feed it and make their own starter out of this. I'm offering it to my sister if she wants it. I don't know. Maybe she might pick me up on it, because if you have the wealth, might as well share it, right? And I know she's into this stuff. And if she knows the health benefit, if she doesn't, I'm going to put her on to this. Because I found out myself yesterday that this is a low full of protein and good gut health and digestion and all of that. And me being with an autoimmune disease and gut issues and all of that stuff, and she also has the same, you know, like autoimmune issues and stuff like that. I think she might benefit from this. I might put her onto this. I might tell her to come pick herself up some discard so she can start her own. So we'll share the wealth. But anyway, guys, day 3, second feeding. I might come back for a third, but we'll see. All right, guys, we are on day 4 of the sourdough journey. Again, King Arthur made the starter. I am just feeding it. Always putting that disclosure out there. I have the bottle up here. This is what you receive. 1 ounce in net weight. There's a reason why I'm giving it to you again on day 4, because we're going to show you something at the end of this day. So this is what it's looking like at day 4. So if you watch the video, if you continue to watch it, I did do a third feeding last night at 10 o'clock, like I stated. And this is what it's looking like. I think by the markings, because I did wash the vessel last night, it looks like it rose to up to here, and it is receding, which means it's hungry. So we are going to go ahead and feed it like we've been feeding it since day 1, which is discarding. We keep the discard here because we are using it in baking. We've baked with it once. We did a blueberry loaf with a recipe of blueberry muffins because I don't have a blueberry muffin glassware. And it's delicious, by the way. So we currently have 232 mason jar of these full of discard, even though I've used it once. So I have to obviously get using it. My sister is gonna volunteer and come over and take some of the discard. I've watched a couple of videos where it says you can build off of a discard and make yourself a starter. So she's very happy to come over and take some of the discard off of my hands and build herself a starter just like this one. And so we have a new mason jar here because we need a new one. So this will be my third one that I'm building up. So the measurements are still the same. It's still half a cup of discard to half a cup of lukewarm water to 1 cup of King Arthur all-purpose flour. Now it can be whatever flour you want to use. I'm just using King Arthur because I'm just using right now all of their products. I'm having success with it, so I'm just gonna continue it moving forward. Now, if moving forward I want to switch to another all-purpose flour, I'm sure it'll probably work the same, as long as you just continue the feedings. For right now, I am keeping it outside because I am trying to get this starter to ripeness. I don't know if I'm there yet, but it is getting thicker. So I'll show you the thickness and what I am experiencing with the discard at the end. So let me go ahead and do the feeding off camera, because you guys already have seen me do that multiple times. Right now it is 11 o'clock. I'm going to try to do 3 feedings as well if I can today. I've been doing them because it says every 6 to 8 hours. So if I am home and I don't have appointments, which today I don't, and for the next 3 days I don't as well, I try to do them at the sweet spot, which is 6.5 to 7 hours when it reaches its peak. I get 3 feedings. Because it does say the more you feed it, the better it will be, or the quicker it will come to ripeness. So let's go ahead and feed this guy, and I will see you at the tail end. All right, so day 4 is officially started. This here is the discard, new jar, saran wrapped, a lid just to kind of, I guess, keep it in place. So I put this in the fridge. So this is gonna obviously stay outside. Saran wrap. The clasp is on but not tight. And it always, the line stays the same because the measurements are the same. So it does have a few bubbles. I don't know if you can see them on the screen. So hopefully it'll become nice and active. So what I want to show you is the discards from day 1 through day 3. And the only reason why I want to show you is because I have some observations. Now I'm gonna remove these guys and put them in their respective places so I can bring those 2 into frame. So just give me a few. All right, so now these were in the fridge. One is wide mouth, one is regular mouth. They're both 32 ounces. Now this one is from day 1 and day 2. And this is the one that I use to make the blueberry loaf. Now, if you see this one, it is more liquidy, as it should be, I'm assuming. It still smells, sour, because the sourdough starter, when it came, it was, sour, obviously. The people at King Arthur know what they're doing. They're experts at what they do. And it's bubbly. It is what it is. It does have some bubbles in there, but it's a discard. Still can bake with it, do whatever it is that I have to do with a discard. The texture, let me get a spatula. The texture of it is pretty thick. Don't get me wrong, but it's more like a pancake batter, if you will, which is fine. Like I already stated, I was surfing, as I'm always surfing, because that's the form of my entertainment. YouTube and TikTok, and if you let it sit into room temperature, you can definitely get another starter out of this. So that's why you keep it in the fridge. I'm happy with where it's at. Now, my biggest observation is moving on to day 3. Now, if you remember on the beginning of today, I stated that on day 3 I did the most of my feeding. I did 3. This is just day 3. Look at this. Look at all these bubbles. Now, I was expecting to put my discard from today into this jar, because last night when I put my last discard, this was up to here. To my surprise, when I opened my fridge this morning, this is completely full. So I don't know. They say that when you put it in the fridge, the active yeast goes to sleep. I don't know. This is completely, it's cold. Now, mind you, I took it out of the fridge maybe about 15 minutes ago, just to, show this to you guys. But it's still cold. Now, I saran wrap it. A lot of people put it in just a plastic container and put a lid on it. I saran wrap it because I don't want it to get dry. I saw somebody on TikTok that said that that's okay. So the consistency on this one, it's thick, it's stiff. So this one makes me feel like, look at this. It's way more like it's look at this. Now, yes, me moving it is probably gonna break it down and there's gonna be more space, but do you see this, guys? I feel like I put away an active starter in the fridge. That's what I feel like I did. I don't know. If you guys get to this part of the video and you guys, if y'all stay that long, in the comment section below, let me know. Let me know how y'all feel about this jar. Because it is really thick. And, this would definitely pass a float test. So I'm gonna, definitely put it back in the fridge. And just, let it rock and roll. Because you never know what happens to the one outside. Knock on wood. Nothing. But, yeah, it's going back in my fridge along with the other one. And we'll see what happens. But I'm definitely going to try to get 3 feedings in. And other than that, day number 4 is going to rock and roll. So at this point, I don't know if I'll bring you along for the other 2 feedings because it's pretty a nuisance because it's pretty much the same thing. But we are moving along with the King Arthur sourdough starter. So far, as you can see, I have nothing but amazing things to report. So unless something goes south, which knock on wood, it doesn't, I will definitely turn the camera on. But at this point, I'll just report daily and we'll see what happens. But at this point, I will definitely try to feed at least 3 times a day. And that's what I'll do today. Other than that, I will see you on day 5, which will be tomorrow, just to show you what's going on. Hey USG, welcome to day number 5 of our sourdough starter. So this morning, this is how she is looking. Yesterday was day number 4, obviously. I reported in the morning. My hopes was to feed her 3 times, and I was only able to feed her twice. I was going to try to do a force feeding a little bit before the 6 hours because I had to go with my 2 men in the house to go do a second pickup of compost. But that went on a little longer, so I wasn't able to feed her in between. So I fed her yesterday at about 9. Right now, it's 10 to 11. So we're feeding her today again at 11. So I'm hoping to do 3 feedings today as well. The normal feeding, you guys should already know if you've watched the beginning of this video. Half a cup of the sourdough starter to half a cup of lukewarm water and 1 cup of all-purpose King Arthur flour. The discard is right here. This one is not like the discard from day number 3, probably because I have not been feeding it, discarding it as much or feeding the starter as much. So this one is definitely more of a loose consistency, which is fine. I don't know what's going on with that overactive discard in the fridge. But that one is still very bubbly and whatnot. So that one's probably the one that I'm going to end up giving my sister some of it so she can do her starter from. But, this one is still very, my starter in itself is still very bubbly. She's just really hungry because I pretty much starved her. So we're gonna go ahead and break her down, feed her, and I'll show you what it looks like at the end because that's what I'm already accustomed to. But it's pretty much, you know, the same thing. I won't bring you along just like yesterday for the rest of the feedings because at this point it's kind of getting, you know, a nuisance. So I will see you guys on day 6. I heard from surfing YouTube that it takes about 7 to maybe 10 days to probably get, you know, I guess a ripe starter where you can, you know, start baking breads from. So I'm not even trying at this point. I haven't done the flow test at this point yet either. And at this point, I still don't know at what consistency or what time you're supposed to do the flow test. If it's when it reaches its peak, after it reaches its peak. So I'm still doing that whole search. So we're gonna go ahead and feed it. I'll show you at the end what it looks like, which is the same thing from every other day. And I'll see you guys, you know, pretty much on day 6, but I'll give you a glimpse at it at the end. All right, guys, there you have it. Day number 5. Feeding number 1, already stated, won't bring you in for the other feedings because at this point it's just repetitive. But I did clean the jar. I gave her a new cling sealing, so she is in a nice clean home. This discard jar is completely full. I don't like to fill it all the way to the top because if it chooses to bubble, because at this point I don't know what they're choosing to do because I have one that, you know, did remain active for whatever reason in the fridge. I think it has deactivated at this point, but it did bubble. So just in case if, you know, this one chooses to do the same, which, you know, it did not, but me adding more, I don't know what it wants to do. So I will be using another mason jar. At this point, I'm going to have to pull from my reserves. That would be mason jar number 4. I'm waiting for the weekend till my husband's off so I can, you know, make like waffles and all that good stuff. I may try my hands at discard crackers. I was looking at that in TikTok and that intrigued me. So they sound really delicious. I might try the salt one and the garlic and also the Parmesan cheese. Those looked very delicious, or a combination of all of them. So I might bring you along for that one. We will see. I don't know if I'll do it today or in the future, but I definitely have to start getting rid of some of this discard because it's one taking jar space and it's also taking fridge space. So anywho's all of that to say, this will be what you will be seeing for day number 5. We'll definitely be pushing 3 feedings today, but other than that, I will see you guys on day 6. And hopefully this will soon turn into a ripe starter so we can take you into me baking my first loaf from this. So a rookie to a rookie can see that it can be done. See you guys on day 6. Hey USG, welcome back. We are on day number 6 of our sourdough starter journey. So here she is. Last night we fed her at around 10 a.m. It looks like she rose all the way up to here. And obviously she has fallen because she's hungry. Yesterday on day 5, we fed her 3 times. And we are going to feed her today again 3 times. We are trying to get this started to ripeness as quick as possible. We are going to feed her today for the first time. We're going to not do this on camera because, you know, at this point you already know what we're doing. We are at this point here that we are almost done with our 5 pound of all-purpose flour. So we are either gonna go get another one. At this point, today's Friday. So we're either gonna get another one in the weekend if I have time. If not, we're gonna switch over to King Arthur's bread flour. So you guys will see that transition over if I have to. I'm gonna show you at the end the discard from yesterday because it's interesting. So let me go ahead and feed this and I'll see you at the tail end. All right, so here's the start of day 6. She is fed. We cleaned up the vessel, gave her a nice clean home. This is the discard. So discard number 1, we did what we usually do. We put some cling seal there. We put the ring around it just to keep it secure so it doesn't lift. And I'm assuming discard 2 and 3 will probably go on top of it. Put it in the fridge so it stays not active, which is what I've been told. But obviously, hopefully you watched the full video. On day 3, we had a very active discard. Day 5, which is yesterday, very active discard. So there was a puncture obviously in my seal, and this here, as you can see, has a give, and it's been sitting in the countertop just maybe it took me maybe 10 minutes to do this, and I had to actually clean the bottom because it was already spilling over, and as you can see, it's starting to come down. So I'm going to clean all of this up, and you can see, look at this. I'm going to go ahead and clean all of this up and reseal it. But this is my discard from yesterday. So this is what happens when I feed it 3 times. So imagine if I was to feed it more often, which I probably can, if I could get to it at 9 o'clock in the morning, which most of the time I can't get to it because my mornings seem to be busy or I have appointments or whatnot. So my sweet spot is about 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning. But this is 3 feedings, which right now is my maximum feeding time. And it has a lot of bubbles, and it's active, and it's in the fridge. It's really cold. So, yeah. But this is what I have. So, day 6 is in the books with feeding number 1. We definitely will have 3 feedings today. I don't have anything in the books today once it comes to like appointments or anything besides, you know, the typical housework that has to be done and or cooking. So the next feeding will be at we got 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 and then 10. And then she will definitely go all night. So she will definitely be hungry in the morning. And we will see. The weekend will probably be a little tough because, you know, if we have any activities or anything or visiting family members or whatnot. So we will see. But yeah, so I'll bring you guys along on day 7, which will be tomorrow. So we're definitely hopefully hitting the mark by what I see with surfing through YouTube. Some people say it can take up to 14 days, but you know, it says fresh sourdough starter here, which means I don't know if that was a mature starter or not, but you know, I'm trying to definitely get it bigger, bulk it up. I don't know what step of the process I am here, but yeah, I'm just bringing you guys along for the process. So y'all can see a rookie doing what she does, so maybe another rookie can learn from my mistakes. Yeah, so day 6 is in the books. I'll see you guys on day 7. And if I don't get to record on day 7 because it's the weekend, I'll see you guys on day 8 or 9. But definitely know that I will be actively feeding it, and I will let you guys know what happens in between. All right, USG, welcome back. It's been a long weekend. Today we are with Miss Sourdough again. Today's day 9. Like I stated a little bit before, if you guys have made it this long, day 7 and day 8 were not recorded because it was the weekend. We had some family adventures. We went apple picking and everything with the kiddos. My kiddos are adults, so they're always going to be kids in my heart. And as you can see, we have transferred Miss Sourdough to a bigger container. We ran out of all-purpose flour. I did state that, so we started feeding her bread flour. We have stocked up since on all-purpose flour, but she's extra hungry today, so we're just going to go ahead and give her an extra boost and give her bread flour today. Yesterday I fed her when we got back from apple and pumpkin picking. I was just pretty much walking the farm because we just only brought a little pumpkin. She rose all the way up to about here, and now she's flat to here. So she did her peak and now she fell. She usually sits to about here, so now she's really about here. So she's doing pretty good, which is amazing. We fed her at about, I want to say 6:30, which would have put me at feeding her again if I wanted to at about 11:30. We were extra tired. I didn't feed her, but I got 2 feedings in yesterday, so I left her alone. We are today at about almost 11 o'clock right now. Little busy morning between doing laundry and all that stuff, so I'm gonna get a feeding in right now. We are at day 9, so I think she is reaching good ripeness right now. She's extra bubbly, extra sour. The float test, I don't know. I haven't done it. Am I going to go by, the float test says she floats, she's ripe? I don't know. There's many tests out there. She's passing the smell test. She's passing that whole, if you light a fire or all that, she puts it out. She's passing all of those tests. I have been baking with the discard, and the recipes are phenomenal. I'm gonna recreate them. Now, they are not my recipes. These are recipes that I find either on TikTok or YouTube and all of that. Some of them I might put my little spin on them, so I will recreate them. My family love them, and I will bring you guys along with, on that journey. And so you guys will see that on the channel. But today's day 9, and we're gonna do the normal feeding, which is half a cup of the sourdough, half a cup of lukewarm water, and a cup of today just bread flour. I'm gonna try to do maybe 2 to 3 feedings since we're doing bread flour today. It does have extra, I guess, nutrients, whatever the chemicals is on here, so she does get a little stronger. So we might just do 2 feedings. We'll just see how the day goes. Obviously, like any other day, we're not going to bring you along for all of that because it's just tedious, it's repetitive. We'll bring you back on day 10 and report to you guys. I do have a lot of discard in my fridge, so I will be, like I said, baking and bringing you guys along for those recipes. I also want to do sourdough discard crackers. That'll be new because I haven't done that. I'll bring you guys along for that as well, and a lot of other adventures because this is a whole new world to me and I am excited. My sister did come over in the weekend, and she went apple picking and pumpkin picking with us, and so did my daughter's girlfriend and one of her cousins. She was so excited, and she took hers home, and she's also excited. So we're just gonna be sharing pictures all over the place. I told her to send me pictures of everything that she does, so I'll probably be sharing that as well. And so we're just opening up a whole new world, and we're just excited. So I'm gonna go ahead and feed this. I'll show you guys in the tail line of what it looks. It's probably gonna look the same way as this. She's just gonna be at her line, and we will move on with this day. All right, guys, there you see it. Day 9 is in the wraps. It's in the books. We have the discard over here. We just added it on top of the discard of day 8, if I'm not mistaken. And you already see on the plastic here is bubbling. Now, mind you, it was flat. There was no activity on there. So it's over full. It is what it is. I'm going to have to put a bowl underneath it when I put it in the fridge because it's just, I've already had one too many messes in the fridge. And I'm using the pint jars here because I kind of almost ran out of the 32 ounces. So I put an order in to Walmart. They came in already. I have them in my living room. It's just I have to bust them out and wash them. Walmart is having a sale on the ball mason jars. So if the sale is still out there, go get them. I'll probably use this one first or whatever. At this point, I've kind of fell out of whack of, which discard to use first because there's so many in there. But I have the line marked here. As you can see, hopefully you can see my little green line here that's probably fading from the Sharpie. That's where it starts off and then it rises. So might feed it twice, might not feed it twice, might feed it 3 times. We'll see. It is literally 11 o'clock on the dot as we are finishing up. But it was fed at about 10:45, but I'll call it at 11. At this point, it'll be at 5, which is the 6-hour mark. If I want to leave it longer, to the 8, which will be probably the fall time. It'll be literally 8 o'clock. So that'll be the second feeding, and then I can leave it till the morning. So that'll be 2 feedings. So we'll see what we want to do. Either way, I will report to you guys tomorrow, which will be day 10. So we will see you guys then. All right, USG. Welcome to day 10 of this journey with our sourdough starter. So on your right hand side, right over here, you can see we have our sourdough starter, and she is very bubbly. She is at about she's at about 12 hours since we last fed her. I fed her at 12 o'clock I fed her at 11 o'clock last night. So it is 11 o'clock this morning. And today we will be feeding her all-purpose King Arthur flour. Don't mind the peppers that you see here on your left-hand side. We have been cleaning the garden. So it's literally almost bare. So this is our last harvest. But back to over here, just had to mention an honorable mention over here since you can see it. So we are going to be feeding it all-purpose King Arthur flour today. I think this is where we're going to be parting ways once it comes to our sourdough journey. You can follow us on our Instagram or Facebook, TikTok. We have all of those. We have it in our description section below, and you can see our journey there if all of this continues, and our baking and all of that stuff that we do. So go follow, like, all that good stuff over there. But I think this is where we're going to end our video here. So we're going to do an even 10 days so you can see. I think that we have done really good. We don't have a name for her, but we are giving her the she pronoun. Not that it matters, but she's good. I think she is good. She has very sour smell, and she rises, as you can see here. Let me remove this plastic a little bit. She rose last night to this point, so that was her peak, and she has fallen. So, once I do break all these bubbles, she goes back down to where this green line is right here. I don't know if you can see it. Let me bring it close so you can see the green line. That's where I label it, right here. So once I break all these active bubbles with my silicone spatula, she comes back down to that. And I think it's good. I think this starter that I brought, this little 1 ounce starter, has done marvelous. So this is where I'm going to be doing the discard for today. I have some space here, hopefully, and that's where I'm going to put it. This was in the fridge, so I took it out. It has some bubbles, as you can see, but it's not active. It's inactive or dormant. And I've been baking with this. I already stated that, so I'm not going to go too into that. I will be bringing you guys back for some of those recipes. They've been delicious. My family has been, falling in love with all those recipes. So I'll be acting them or recreating them for you guys. So we are going to be feeding the starter with the same thing, which is, discarding. We will be feeding the sourdough starter. So we will be taking half a cup of our starter, putting it in our bowl, and then the rest will be discard. We will be feeding it half a cup of lukewarm water, a cup of all-purpose flour, and that will be what will be our starter, and the rest of it will be discard. And that will move on to be day 11 and so forth, and on and on and on and on. And this can be handed off to your loved ones, and at this point this can be inherited from what I've heard on YouTube, surfing through so many channels and on TikTok. I mean, I went down a rabbit hole. This has been a very cool adventure for me, and it's going to be an indefinite adventure for me. Hopefully, I got my sister put onto it. She has a starter of her own, and she has been sending me pictures. Last night, I think she fed her starter at about 12 o'clock midnight, or at least that's when she sent me the picture. I'll insert it here so you guys can see the adventure that I got her on with me. It's nice to be able to geek out with somebody that's close to you with this. She loves all of this as well. And she can't wait to have land so she can, do the gardening situation as well. So it's nice to have a sibling that loves all of this with you. So this is where we're gonna part ways, guys. But it was nice to bring you guys along with me to show you guys that, a rookie is doing this, and see all, I guess, the mistakes that I did, if I had any, because at this point I can't remember. And my successes. I think it has been a wonderful success. And if you guys, want to get on the website for, King Arthur and purchase this, fresh sourdough starter, like I said, it was $9.95, and you get it within 24 hours. They do say to feed it. It was easy. The instructions were simple. You get a beautiful pamphlet, which I showed you guys in the beginning with the instructions. I think they're foolproof, and you continue that. If you want to bulk it up, you can bulk it up. You just got to make sure you have your measurements. I'm about to drop my bowl. Make sure that you have your measurements correct. And if you don't know it, then just, go on YouTube and follow somebody that teaches you how to bulk up your sourdough starter if you're going to be doing that, if you have a bigger family. But to start it up, they guide you. The booklet also has wonderful recipes for like pizza with discard and or just a regular fed starter. Now, I have not done an actual bread loaf because I don't know if it's ready. I'm not sure. I think it still needs a couple of days for it to be, fully ripe. So I will bring you guys along when I am ready to do my first loaf. I can't wait for that to happen. Too bad it is not tomato season anymore around here, but we can wait for that anticipation, because the best thing is homemade sourdough bread with a tomato sandwich. But we can wait till next year. We can do it. But other than that, guys, this has been my sourdough journey, sourdough starter journey. And I hope that you guys have enjoyed this kind of video. Like I said, I am learning new skills in my kitchen, and I am just bringing you guys along as a rookie so you guys can see my mistakes and my journey. And, as always, guys, I ask you guys to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And we will see you guys on our next journey, adventure, and video. Bye.